Welcome to Be Beyond Borders. This is Solène Anglaret, and today's episode is about what it feels like to come back home after spending a long time beyond borders. Alex, welcome to Be Beyond Borders.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's awesome. So tell me, where are you from?
Yeah, so originally I was born in Sale, Victoria, and lived in Queensland for the majority of my life.
So where do you live now?
So at the moment, I'm in Australia, so here we are in Melbourne, Australia. I'm in transit from London, going to Mexico, and I'm just here for about a month, 6 weeks, visiting family and friends, and touring Australia with my girlfriend.
So Australia, next Mexico. How about other countries you've lived in before?
Yes, so I was in London for 2 years prior to coming to Australia, which was brilliant. That was absolutely fantastic. Prior to that, many years ago, I graduated in Germany. So I did a semester abroad in Germany.
And a month in France?
And of course a month in France. Yes, of course.
How about traveling? How many countries have you been to roughly?
Yes, so I don't know of the exact figure, the exact number. I think I'm in the vicinity of about 35 to 40. So that's across South America, Europe, Asia.
So you're back in Australia now. How does that feel?
It feels interesting. In comparison to London, it was a lot faster pace. Made a lot of friends there. Coming back, it is a little bit slower, but it is great to see family. It's great to have some Australian sunshine for a change. Just come out of a British winter. It's good. Listen, it's relaxing. I'm on vacation. But it's not it's home because it's where my family is, but it's sort of not quite home at the moment. Yeah.
Ah, okay. So how would you explain where or what home is then?
It's a good question. Very good question. It'd be a combination of a place, people at the right time. I mean, for example, I'm moving to Mexico for a couple of years, in a couple of weeks, and that to me is going to be my new home because I'm going to be with a loved one. But that being said, Australia, Brisbane's my home as well because I've got my family there.
So you're off to Mexico. Tell us what are you going to be doing in Mexico and what brings you there?
Yeah, so Mexico. So the plan of attack in Mexico is I'm going to be studying remotely for 1.5 years, doing a master's degree, distance learning. On top of that, I'll be learning Spanish, of course. I don't speak a word of Spanish, and also hoping to pick up some work there in time. I mean, visas and so on pending. Get some contract work periodically throughout the next year or so, and of course travel.
So what do you think is the most exciting thing about moving to Mexico?
Well, everyone's been talking about the food in Mexico, and they've talked it up a lot. And I'm going to have to say it's the food because I love Mexican cuisine, but I have been promised that Mexican tacos are the best in the world.
How about some of the challenges that you are anticipating?
Yes. So in the move to Mexico, there is a couple of things that are on my mind. One is, as I mentioned, I don't speak a word of Spanish. So going to a culture where I don't speak the language can be tough. The other thing as well is around social aspect. So I don't have my own set of friends per se in Mexico. I'm going to be very much leveraging or having to rely on girlfriend and family and her circle of friends initially to sort of get that social aspect of my life up and running. And the final aspect is professionally. So my master's degree I'm doing is in international security and strategic studies, and whether we stay in Mexico or not, or come to Australia, for example, which is sort of what I'm hoping in the future. How my living abroad may affect, for example, security checks and so on from my career professionally, planning to make a move in that sector. So yeah, I mean these are challenges, but I'm sure I'll adapt to it as it comes to life.
So you've mentioned going back to Australia eventually. So is that your long-term plan, or tell us a bit more about beyond Mexico?
Yes, well, of course, subject to further conversations with the girlfriend. My sort of hope is to go back to Australia, and the reason for that is I would say I'd like to think I've travelled a lot, and out of all the countries I've seen in the world, I think raising a family and having a good quality of life is best suited to Australia. Australian living, I mean, we've got the weather, working at work. There's a lot of opportunities here as well.
Awesome. So a life of traveling, living abroad, all of that, in my mind is being beyond borders. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, one on that concept, one point that comes to mind is it sustainable? Can it be done? I think traveling beyond borders I think it's important. I think it's important to enrich in your life. You meet a lot more people. You learn a lot more about who we are as humans. I think all living on the same planet. I think personally you grow very quickly because you put yourself under a lot of pressure by going beyond borders, getting under the skin of local traditions, customs, and sort of broaden that knowledge base of the world.
This life beyond borders.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who wish they could travel the world and live in different countries. Do you have any tips for them?
Couple of tips. Do your homework on the countries. I think with a broad brush, I think it's a given. You understand some of the simple things. They're not always that simple, but visas, bank accounts, so on. The tips I would definitely shout out about is get in touch with people who have been there or are currently living at perhaps the destination you're thinking of going to. So do that. Be prepared and bring a good spirit of adventure. When you get there, have fun. Try not to take it too seriously.
It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to Alex today. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. This was Solène Anglaret bidding you goodbye and happy travels. Would you like to add anything?
My only question is, what is home to you? What does beyond borders mean to you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not being interviewed, am I?
No.
This keeps happening.